The movie you're making me watch today is Dream Scenario, an A24 recent release directed by Kristoffer Borgli.
Tis.
And there's no way anybody has a haiku ready.
No way. Haiku's out the window on this one.
But we did just finish watching this. What do you think, Jake?
I think Cage is great.
You didn't like it.
I liked it for the most part. There was, I don't know, it started dropping for me a little bit, like midway through. Kind of just sort of starts to dip off, and like it's sort of when it turns to the nightmare stuff where it's funny at first, but I feel like they just kind of beat a dead horse after a little while.
The premise of this movie is pretty awesome in that what do you do when you have no control over what people think about? The premise of the movie is the world around the world people are dreaming of. Is it around the world?
I think so. Eventually, yeah.
People are dreaming of
The dude.
Mr. Matthews.
Paul Matthews.
Matthews. And at first it's kind of benign. He's just kind of standing there doing nothing in the background. Although a lot of it is him. A lot of it, there was something about like something bad happening in the dream and him doing nothing. Was that's probably more in his head than...
Well, no, I think that was what it was. He was just observing everything. He wasn't taking part in anything yet.
But that didn't mean he wasn't like... Because
They were always like nightmarish.
He saw it as like, oh, well, so I was just doing nothing? I couldn't help you or nothing?
Well, yeah, the whole thing is that his outlook on himself isn't very good. Like,
what is this
guy's
movie
not very
about,
confident.
Schwartz?
I think it's about a guy named Paul Matthews who, like you said, everybody starts dreaming of him. Everybody starts having the same type, their own individual dream, but he's in them. Usually he's just walking by or watching them from a distance. But he's also a very neurotic, dorky writer. And he's not even a writer. He's a fucking school teacher. He's
like
a
a scientist.
University professor. A university professor who studies like nature. There was a word for it, I think.
Biological.
Anyway, he also is kind of just a weirdo and has a weird home life, and like his kids think he's a weirdo.
He's
just all kinds of
It's not
weirdos.
a weird home life. It's actually like seemingly
It's normal,
super normal.
but
like,
he's just a weirdo.
It's very simple, very basic. He's very much a nobody,
a loser.
The big analogy of that I saw throughout the movie was zebras.
Yeah,
like the whole zebras are safe when they're like blended into their flock.
Yeah,
and he just kind of had that life for the longest time, but he always kind of there was the weird part of him that seemingly wanted to get out.
Yeah,
and
no, he wants notoriety. He wants fame.
Yeah, right.
He wants people to talk about him. He wants people to think that he's a smart and cool guy. You know what I mean? I think it's because he's
a cool guy.
He's smart. You know what I mean? He knows what's up when it comes to the things that he's interested in. But he's also like just very, very awkward. He's not very, very personable, and he just rubs people the wrong way for sure. And that's why I think what made people like be afraid of him is that like he's just even off the bat he's not someone you'd want to talk to. So when he's doing creepy shit, it just magnifies it.
Right. And I guess like one of the movies set up his character a little bit, kind of showed some different dinners and luncheons that he went to. I know he went
and dinners that he wasn't invited to. Remember, he's got a friend who always does his dinners that like he pairs people together. He thinks would have a good time or have things in common. He's never invited them. That just says a lot right there.
He's a loser. This guy's a fucking loser.
Yeah,
total loser. But he wants to be somebody.
But he loves the fact that people are talking about him. Like he loves the fact that he's the center of attention.
And he's very
well, he's only the center of attention because people are dreaming about him, right?
Yes, but that he loves that. Like he enjoys the fact that because like I don't know. I guess we can start from the beginning. Like
from the top.
It opens up with him. Not like you realize he's a dorky guy, but he has like a former colleague who is publishing like a paper on antology or something like a phrase that he coined, which is a study of what his PhD is in, of some sort of animal studies. Yeah, studies of animals or
Antology.
What is it?
Antology.
Antology. Oh, it is antology. You're right. It is the study of animals. That's what the book's about. That's he wants to write.
Is it?
But yeah, so this lady basically steals his shit and publishes it, and he's pissed about that, but doesn't do anything about it and makes a fool of himself in front of her. And then what else happens?
Well, he wants credit for the whole book, and she just basically like says no, and he records the whole conversation. That's like the weird awkward part. Like
his wife asked him to.
Yeah. Well, at first his wife asked him to call so she can listen in on the conversation, and then he's like, well, maybe I'll record it, which he does, but he listens to it before he ever plays it back to his wife, and it's kind of intercut when he's listening to it with the dinner itself.
Yeah.
Or it's just him like
losing.
Yeah. just begging
Pouting.
for this
Yeah.
credit.
Come on,
just whining.
put me in there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remember Adaptation when there was like a meeting, like a dinner meeting? It was like very similar vibe and a very similar looking restaurant.
Yeah, it's with Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. When he was like talking about like selling the book for a screenplay.
Yeah.
It had a very similar.
This mirrors that movie a lot.
Very much, yeah. Like the closest character he probably played this.
100%, and I think that's his best character.
Middle-aged, weirdo.
But the worst part about him is after that meeting, and after how bad it went, after how bad it was listening to it that he had to delete it. He goes home to his wife or calls her and it's like, yeah, she totally understood, and I think we're gonna, he always played it off as it went well.
Yeah, he lies to himself on a daily basis.
And that's what I was wondering is he lying? Is he certainly lying to his wife? Is he lying to himself? Does he believe that those meetings went well, or is he just trying to sound cooler than he is? Because either way, one makes him more of a loser, and I don't know exactly which one.
I think he knows he's full of shit. Like,
do you?
Because the whole playback of that conversation, he knew it was terrible. To the point where he deletes it off his phone. His wife asks him, this is the type of guy he is. His wife asks him if he recorded the conversation. He's just like, no, it felt unethical. Which he did, but he didn't want to play it back for his wife because he was
you sound like a fucking asshole. Yeah.
So it was just like, the beginning of this movie really just paints this dude as pretty bad.
He just sucks.
He's a loser.
He's not a good dude.
And as we go along,
I think he's very lucky to have. He has a pretty great life. His house is awesome. His wife's pretty cool. He's got a family. Like he's made it pretty well.
He's kind of Walter White status.
Yeah, he kind of does.
His wife is seemingly the breadwinner. I don't think they said that directly, but he took her name.
She's some sort of architect, right?
And he took her name.
Yeah.
And she's like, he felt appropriate, like when he met. That was kind of the next interaction we see is that an former girlfriend runs into him at a play.
And this is where you start hearing about it.
And that's the whole thing with she tells him she's been dreaming about him. And they meet up for lunch and yada yada. But where was I going with this?
Yada yada.
I'm talking about how that's the dream when she talks to him about how she sees her in a dream. That's the first time.
Yeah,
right.
That's when we've seen a little bit of weirdness that I've noticed the second time around, like when he went to the restaurant and the waitress was like, I know you, right?
Right.
And stared at him. She's like, this is weird, super deja vu.
Like kind of like and like students kind of like whispering back and forth about stuff. Like, was he doing this? Was he doing that?
Well, I think he heard him whispering after the meeting with the girl.
The which girl?
The second girl, his ex-girlfriend, the one who dreamed about him that wanted to use him. So he meets with her, and all she wants is to be able to use him in her dreams as an article for her. Yeah. She just wants content.
And then the kids in his class start seeing Jim dreams and ask to talk about it and shit.
Fuck did you just say?
The kids in his class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when they start talking.
That's where he starts digging in, and like you see like how fucking much he loves talking about himself. And that's when he realizes that he's not doing anything in his dreams, but observing.
Yeah, but they all do seem like nightmares in ways. He's just kind of just a passive, like passerby within the nightmare itself.
Yeah, what was the first one they saw? It was the earthquake.
It was his daughter. Yeah, it was his daughter. Like shit was falling out of the sky.
Yeah,
that was like the very first thing we see.
But the earthquake was the first crazy one that someone about him had.
The earthquake, and then there was like a guy that was like being chased by like
eating the mushrooms in the forest. That was the first one we saw.
Another girl had like alligators in front of her, and she was
sitting
on a piano. Like just weird, like very dreamlike but scary situations that he just kind of walks through the room essentially, and that's kind of it. Which is
the dude's
strange.
a narcissist too.
Yeah, he's very much so.
The dude's like. He goes. The lady writes the article. His Facebook explodes. Everybody knows about him. There, people around the world are dreaming about him. I could dream about you. Was that in the movie? That's like, well, that
Should
had to be.
Should have been. Wasn't that missed opportunity?
And so, yeah, when he goes to class, there's like 1,000 people in the class, and everyone's like, everybody had a dream about him, but it was always the same thing. It was always just him kind of chilling there. And he was like, does anybody have anything original, like where I was doing anything?
Yeah.
And nobody raised their hand. And then he was like, all right, well, let's keep going on with the other one.
Right here about it. Yeah.
So this dude he was just such a loser all his life that this tiny little bit of anything is.
Yeah, he just relishes in
He's
it.
a fucking incel.
Yeah, he just relishes.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, you're supposed to hate this guy. I think.
I hate him. I hate him more than anybody else.
It's hard to like.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Any redeeming qualities to him?
I think the redeeming qualities is I don't think he means to be like that. I think he just is. I don't think he realizes that he's every time he tries to make it better, he makes it worse because he just seems like a selfish piece of shit. He like doesn't care about. He's like a child. It's almost like his awareness level just never got past like 15 to where like you're just all about yourself and everybody else around you doesn't matter. You know, that's just how I got it from.
Yeah, I don't think he ever seemed malicious. He just
No, he wasn't malicious. I think it's just how he was. He's like,
Yeah.
oh well. She's like, everything you said was self-absorbent, like everything benefits you. He's like, what do you mean? Which parts? Like, all of it, you fucking asshole.
See, now, did you ever feel that he meant that what he was saying in that video when he was like coming clean? When he was like, I'm one of you guys. I was attacked too.
I think he does because I think like he does feel like he's not allowed to be himself anymore.
I felt bad for him,
and that's what matters. But you shouldn't feel bad for him.
I felt bad for him right there.
He's just an asshole.
I was like, oh, maybe things are gonna turn around.
All right, so what happens after that? Then keep going. Keep going with what happens. He meets his friend who said she sees him, and that's when it really starts to amp up. Then his students tell him.
Oh yeah,
And then he meets with Michael Cera, right?
Yeah. Then
he starts getting all these messages from different people, and then he realizes he goes to the news. He appears on the news, and then other people start talking
against his very smart wife's wishes.
And that's the thing, like you realize that his wife has probably kind of like steered him in the right direction his whole fucking life and been made sure that everything's okay. His wife definitely drives the ship.
She's a nice lady.
Yeah, she's a good lady.
He took her name.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
Like a bitch. I bet Jake's gonna do that. You're gonna take your boyfriend's name.
I got no one. Got no one to take
Charo.
name of.
Jake Charo Golden.
Jake
Churro. My
Jake
cat.
Churro. Sorry.
Jake
yeah,
Rock
You already have my
Lebowski.
name.
I
don't even know what the joke is though.
I don't know either.
All right. So yeah, he goes on the news, and then they meet up with the Michael Cera, and that pretty funny scene where
Yeah,
they want to
wanna-
like implant Sprite into people's dreams or something, or associate him with Sprite. So when he does jump into people's dreams, they
Sprite.
want to
is
buy
what they take
Sprite.
out.
That was the big one that had the doors wide open with Sprite. Apparently.
Well, that
I mean, it's
character's
pretty
just-
genius.
That character's history itself. It's a guy who's trying to represent him and get him seen by more people. And he's like, Sprite's perfect. It's perfect. Everybody
It's
drinks
pretty
Sprite.
genius.
It is.
You're
And
gonna
then
be in their
goes
brains.
Obama in front of him, which makes him can be super excited.
Was this movie produced by Obama?
No.
probably.
Is this an Obama-produced movie?
This is the next thing that's going to happen after right before the
Was it Clinton or Obama?
planet.
Crooked Hillary?
Crooked, yep. Where were we?
That's a funny scene, though, where he tries to convince him that Sprite is the thing that he should do because it'll get people. It would get people saying. He says they're going to be in charge of their socials. Anything they post on social media, will have just him in it, holding different Sprite cans in front of different places and doing different things, which is pretty smart. And that's where he meets the young chick who is the first person to tell him that they actually interact with him in the dream more than just by a passerby, which is the girl.
Yes.
Molly, I think her name was.
Yes.
Yes.
In a sexual way.
And it's a very sexual interaction.
You know
Which-
right away that this girl was trying to bang this guy.
Yeah, definitely. Also, is she telling the truth? Was my question. Or is she just hitting on him so that he will join the company?
No, I think she's telling the truth.
Think so?
Yeah. I don't think that they were pimping her out, do you?
It seemed like she was telling the truth.
Yes.
I just don't
But-
think they really need to.
So then he's just the first, or she's just the first person to have a dream where she was assaulted. But the difference is she was fucking super into it.
She was into it.
And she had the chance to meet him because of her job.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because from that point on, like we kind of skipped over the party portion where everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we saw him in our dreams," and at the party, and then later on,
that's important though. We should talk about that. So his friend who has a dinner party, they talk about how he have these weird dreams, and this guy shows up in it, and then she's same with mine. He's our friend from long ago, and then they realize that this is the same guy too. This is about the time you realize it when his friend hits him up too, his former friend. It's kind of all coincides at the same time.
Yeah, it's right after that.
Yeah.
And this being invited to that guy's dinner party seems very important.
Yeah,
prestigious.
elite.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's then invited to that party.
Well, wait,
Not
is that
yet,
what happens
not
next?
yet. No, he doesn't get invited.
Well, fucking hit me with it, gentlemen.
So what happens? So
I'm at Eminem, so I'm gonna.
Oh
be
yeah,
angry.
so they tell where do they take him? They take him. Where do they go on their trip?
Where they go?
Canada. Him and the young girl. They go in there. The hotel room they're in. Where they remember he hangs out with her because they're in a hotel.
No, that's her. That's where she lives. They're like in the city, like New York or something.
Where's he like food by?
Oh,
himself
so he
and
goes
shit?
with the girl.
Yeah, when he goes home with a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's riding down the elevator with the girl at the Thoughts, and she was like, "Well, you want to go get a drink?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah!" So they go get a drink, and then what's going on where she was like, "Let's just get the fuck out of here," and I think she just says that she's just like, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
I think she asked like, "Can you do me a favor? Like,
Yeah.
since you're here, like, I need you to do like basically like
reenact this
Yeah.
shit.
as obviously getting to that, reenact."
Cut to her apartment. She changes her clothes into what
She's wearing in her dream.
In her dream, he's creeping in the corner, and then he comes up and starts
Kissing her ear a little bit. Shit.
licking her and kissing her.
Nosferatu.
This scene is
Pulling
probably
her
the funniest
hair.
scene in the whole fucking movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
Well,
pretty hot.
Yeah.
It's actually genius. It's a genius scene.
It made me laugh pretty
It's
hard,
pretty fucking
especially the second
genius.
time with you guys.
Yeah.
The old common fart.
Yeah. So she comes on to this dude, and this dude just totally doesn't know what to do because he has no ounce of riz or whatever the fuck you want to call it in
You
his
got
body.
no riz.
And he gets so nervous that he farts.
My man's got no riz.
He literally just farts, and she takes it so well. And she takes the most embarrassing moment ever and makes it okay, kind of.
She was cool with it because this in her dream it was still hot.
Yeah, why not?
Then she pulls his pants down, but before
And he
she could whip
farts
out.
again.
I
Well,
don't think he
before-
can even fart in the
comes.
dream though.
No, I don't
He
think so.
farts, comes, then farts again.
Comes and farts again. And his face is the funniest face you've ever fucking seen in your life.
She goes, "Did you just come?" And then he goes,
Like that second fart.
"Oh, that's it.
Was comical.
That's done."
That was the
You're
peak
going
of the
home.
movie.
You're going
The
home.
movie hit the high note. And that
If
was it.
he hung himself at that moment, I would understand.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. I mean, genius though. Like the fact if I would have read that script and I was Nicolas Cage, I'd be like, wow, this is gonna be amazing.
What a movie.
What a great idea.
What a weird script. Conceptually, it's such a cool idea from the start. This is kind of the midway point. Now we're at with this is kind of, and this is where the turn is. This is where people start having nightmares where he's killing them. How does he find out about that?
He goes to school the next day and nobody's in class.
Yeah, and we start seeing. Then we see his daughter's dream where he's like running towards her all weirdly too.
Yeah, that's right. It always kind of starts with the daughter's dream.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Which is hilarious too. We laughed out loud during
Run
that
is
too.
pretty funny.
That was right after
Yeah,
that,
'cause
and
that
that was
wasn't
just
after
as
the fun
funny.
part.
That was some sort of like Busta Rhymes 1990s video shit. Give me some more.
Give me some more.
We just hit two different ones. That was fun.
Yeah, so this is where like his old family starts getting involved in the fact that like they could be scared of him, which is kind of shitty. Like the whole time, like I do feel for this guy because he's the one going through it, but like
That's
if it
the
was
thing
someone
is-
who had more like connection to the world, it probably would have ended differently.
I
Like,
think
he
there
just does
is
everything
no.
wrong.
I think there is no redeeming quality for him, and I think that's the sucky part of this movie. It's just like this guy really is getting the shit end of the stick, but does he deserve it?
Yeah,
I mean, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He doesn't do the right thing ever.
Does he deserve what he's getting?
I don't know if he deserves it, but like he acts like he deserves
Because
it.
now he's getting let's keep it going. Like now he's like getting canceled essentially for like
Yeah.
being
This is the party
a
now.
murderer in the dream. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
People feel
And that-
like basically triggered by his presence, and now he can't live a normal life.
He goes to that prestigious party, and
Right.
nobody else shows up.
At this
Yep.
point, now they're having the night. He was invited, but now they're having the nightmares. So now
Yeah.
things have changed.
And then he goes to like the class at his school that everybody tries to hang out with him, and they all leave the room because he gets too close to him.
the whole like therapy session
they have. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was interesting.
That was wild.
They tried
And
to.
again, you feel for him because you're like, well, what the fuck, man? I
He didn't
do
do
anything
anything.
wrong. Like,
but-
it's just the way other people get treated because of him is why it's so fucked up. It's other
and the
people
way
suffer.
he responded to what is happening to him. I feel like if this was a test that someone was giving him, he is failing and did fail miserably.
Yes.
Because essentially he's just throwing fits. Like he's just like, why? I'm not doing anything. I didn't even do it. And then he just
Yeah.
gets fucking. He's just kind of throwing temper tantrums through the whole fucking movie.
He's a child.
He's a
really
child.
is, yeah.
He did not handle the situation well.
That's why it's like, I think that's the point of the movie, obviously, is that someone in that situation who wouldn't handle well gets to have that fucking, that treasure of something happening to them in that way of like, now they're thrown into this and how they gonna fucking deal with it, you know? That's life.
Sorry.
Like,
Like the worst person
would it be
possible.
would it be more of an interesting movie if there was a competent person dealing with this situation?
I don't even think he's not. Yeah, he's pretty incompetent. Yeah, like if it
Maybe.
was like, what if it was like a therapist, like someone who knew how to talk to people, empathize with being fucking alive.
Yeah,
Someone who would see
think
like
of
how
yeah,
it affects the masses, not just
Yeah.
themselves.
of a therapist that people are dreaming of, and then like maybe I don't know.
Or even just someone who's got like a couple kids who are different ages and like sees the way life is, you know, and experiences it a little bit every day through them. Someone who just can experience different parts of it.
I guess here's a good question related to that. Is he relatable? Did you guys find this guy relatable at all
Not at
in
all.
some ways?
Only in that I did
I
feel
have
like
I fart
wouldn't-
when I come.
You thought what?
I fart when I come.
Oh, that's stupid.
Only because I had to repeat it for your deaf ass.
Damn, what was I saying?
Do you relate to the character at all?
The only thing I relate to this guy in this movie is how I would hate to be him. Like I get wanting to feel the way he feels, but you can't publicly and declare what you're like that. Like you have to be diplomatic, you have to be empathetic, you have to be smart about it, you have to be strategic about it. He just fucking doesn't think about it. Do I think what he feels is wrong? Probably not, because everybody's gonna feel that way of some sort. But like also he has a family, so he gets to represent them. It's different. If he didn't have a family, then he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But he represents just other things besides for himself, you know, and that's what he fucks up the most is other people's shit. It's like his daughter's like, I have to kill myself now.
Like,
she straight up says that.
do you think?
So no, that's the only thing did you empathize and sympathize and relate to this guy?
I think like in some ways, but in a lot of ways, like there definitely were those actions he did that were like immediately you just be like, well, fuck this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
There's definitely moments where I empathize with him in that
Sucks that it's him.
that what was happening to him was so out of his control
Yeah.
and and it sucks.
Yeah.
And if I was in that situation, I don't know what I would do. I hope I would do a little better than he did, but it would be a really shitty situation to have to like, especially. And I know that there was a lot that led up to it, but when he couldn't go to his daughter's recital,
Yeah.
and then he forces his
Forces
way in,
his
and
way
then
in,
then
yeah.
he hurts the girl.
Yeah, like straight up fucking breaks
Straight
her
up
hand.
Like, I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Her hand just got closed in the door.
Yeah,
It was
but
totally an
it's his
accident.
fault.
But after all that, boy, that was a bad look. And going into that, like, do you think that how do you feel about him not being allowed into the rehearsal and then him going anyway?
Said he's just
It's a selfish move,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He shouldn't go.
Certainly.
Even after all that, he's in the right. He's totally not wrong. Everyone just thinks it, but it's affecting his daughter.
Yes.
Like, that's the
But
move,
at the
right?
same time, I get how he
Gotta think of
wouldn't
your
want to
daughter.
like bend to the knee to everyone's
Exactly.
fucking shit. I would
Exactly.
understand that.
There's my empathy. There's where I empathize. Is like, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me. I would want to go and scream that in the rafters too, but at what cost?
You represent more than just yourself.
Damn, dude.
That's just how it is.
Responsible Schwartz over here.
I mean, the
What do you think about
world.
that, Jake?
This
What do you think about a
this is the
responsible
world. What
Schwartz?
would you have done, Jake? Yeah. How would you have handled it? Would you have done it? Like, I feel like you're way chiller than this fucking guy.
You ain't
I wouldn't
responsible.
have like reacted like the way he reacts. Like I sympathize with the situation because of the getting blamed for doing nothing. Like that
Fuck
sucks.
that.
Like he did nothing wrong other than he's just kind of a shitty dude, but he didn't really do anything wrong to anybody.
Dude, I'm ready to throw fists.
But at the same time, like when they write loser on his car to react the way he does is fucking stupid. Like I wouldn't give him the satisfaction. First of all,
I want to certainly
like,
you don't
it's
throw
just like calm
public,
the fuck down. Keep
But he
your
lost
shit
it.
together.
Yeah, public
Yeah,
tantrums.
but you don't lose it. You can't when you're in the spotlight. Losing it's losing.
But
can't
he
lose.
is a loser. They weren't wrong what they wrote on his car.
They were right. They were
Big
right.
Fat L.
because he's now dealing with like the celebrity of it all. He's always being recorded. He's like,
L7.
and especially in that situation, you got to know you can't fucking act like that when everyone's got cell phones on you all the time.
This is modern day for how
Yeah.
how it looks like it's fucking shot in the 70s.
No, it's today.
Yeah, for sure. It's all
That's pretty
commentary
crazy.
and all that shit.
It's like the opposite of the holdovers that was shot on modern material, on modern equipment, but made to look in the 70s. This was shot on old equipment and made to look, well, not made to look, but just happens to be modern day.
Oh, I don't even know what was this shot on.
He said it was shot on 16. He being Schwartz.
How you know? Prove it. Look it up.
Bring it up,
Looks digital to me.
That's cool. You think it's Dig?
Was that a red?
You think it was Dig?
She got a red.
I think it was too. It was not nearly sharp enough to be any kind of Dig. And I know they can soften things up, but I feel like they would have.
Softened dig.
They would have been a little better
SD.
about what they softened and what they sharpened.
16 millimeter.
Look at
Super
the
16. That's all it was. Just that. Ariflex 416 plus, Zeiss Ultra 16, and Canon lenses.
What is that, a
Super
red?
16 millimeter. It's the only thing they used.
Pretty
Sorry.
cool. Pretty cool.
Sorry,
Pretty cool.
I wasn't talking
Pretty
to the microphone for any of that. 16 millimeter.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, this dude, that's what he. That's his thing. The look is definitely part of his shit. This dude's one of the dudes I'm looking forward to the most of seeing what he does next too. As he does pretty cool shit. Even his first movie was pretty fun.
Now I'm interested after seeing some of those shorts you showed me. Those were pretty good, honestly. Those were funny
Yeah.
for what they were. Because this Dream Scenario was overall a comedy. It was like a serious
100%.
like, situation. Well, I don't even know if it was a serious situation, but it like had a dramatic tone, but it would like just the hilarious scenarios.
100%.
Dream scenarios.
Dream-like scenario.
No,
The
it's definitely a
best
comedy. It's almost a satire.
Premise of the year so far.
Yeah, the idea is pretty great.
What do you do if you're uncontrollably? I mean, everyone's uncontrollably canceled, but he was uncontrollably canceled by an unarguably not his fault,
Right.
and yet he was still blamed and punished for it.
And it was not even like, and it wasn't even a real thing that actually, it would just happen to people in their subconscious, and it wasn't like a physical wrongdoing.
Yeah,
that he's like it's
like Louis C.K.
So many.
I mean, he physically did that.
What did he physically do?
Jerked his dick
Who doesn't
in
jerk
front of
their-
people?
Who doesn't jerk? No, in
Who
front of
doesn't?
people.
I've jerked off into Jake's plants.
As long as it's cool. it
That's
means you have
hilarious.
Permission.
I asked the plants. They said it was cool.
It's fine.
Okay. Where were we? What was the point of that, though?
Uncontrollably canceled by something completely
Yeah.
benign.
It's not fair. The fact that he has to go through that's not fair, and he doesn't have the mental capacity to handle it well, and that's the point of the movie. He's not the right guy to be thrown in the situation. He
I hate
fucking
this
sucks
guy.
at it. You're supposed to.
Hate
What's to
this
like
guy.
about him?
Nothing.
Yeah. What the greatest part is just how good Nick Cage plays him. He just plays him fucking well.
And nobody won nothing for this.
He didn't even get nominated for this.
Nah.
Nothing.
Cage did great.
He always does great, but
Cage
he really
always does
brought it
great.
out.
We love Cage here on this podcast.
Who doesn't like Cage?
Is
R.I.P.
Cage our
Cage.
collectively favorite actor on the podcast?
I mean, one of for sure. I mean, I
Done a
think
lot
we
of-
all
done a
like
lot of-
him.
yeah, we've
Yes,
done a lot of Cage movies.
we all like Nicolas
love
Cage. Name an actor you guys hate.
Nicolas Cage.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Okay. Name an actor you hate. I like Mel Gibson. I think he's done some tremendous acting in.
Hilary
Okay.
Swank.
Yeah, I don't like her either. So we hate her too.
She's weird.
Hilary
Timothy
Swank.
Chalamet.
Really? No, I like him.
Yeah, he's done alright
He's good.
stuff.
I mean, he hasn't done anything that's like been like that guy's one of the best ever. But like, I think he could.
Like Bones and all is great.
He's still young as fuck.
Dune's pretty good.
He's young as shit. He's like 24, 25.
Just a boy.
I'm a little girl. Jamona.
So anyway, where are we at in this movie?
The bad things that happen to him, and then do we have to go through all the bad things? Basically, he gets canceled. Everyone hates him.
Well, I think the point of this movie is the fact that the things that are happening, like these horrible things, he can't control it, and people hate him. They fucking hate him.
Now you're sympathizing. That's the redeeming half of the movie, is like we are tricked into feeling bad for this guy.
I mean, you have to feel bad for him, because if it was you, you'd feel bad for yourself too.
So torn.
It's just you got to handle it better. I know we're just beating a dead horse by saying this, but that's really what it is. It's like, I think that's you got to just do it better. And it was just watching his downfall, his predestined downfall.
All right. So let's get to a point in the movie like, all right, where he goes to the play. He's not allowed in the play. He goes in anyway. Yeah. The woman gets hurt. And then he kind of disappears for a little bit.
The mob carries him out, right?
This is when he disappears, and this is when the Norio commercial comes on.
This thing, whole thing is introduced, kind of leading up to the end of it all,
which is crazy in its own right.
Which is like this kind of out of nowhere cut scene in a movie where it's a commercial for the Norio, which is a bracelet that can put you into someone else's dreams.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And it's being tested out by a group of influencers living in a house in the hills.
Yeah.
And they're all
Hollywood
trying to make...
on top of the Hollywood Hills.
They're trying to make content in each other's dreams, which is pretty hilarious. Make
content and advertise in inside your dreams using this bracelet, essentially. Yes. And the cool thing was about that is it was... They talk about how it was like couldn't have been done without Paul Matthews and what he did, and even though they said that he did horrible things, like he would. It's kind of a legacy. Like is that not kind of a legacy that he made what is now what he did, even how bad it was, according to the world.
It's the first of its kind.
Was still beneficial in the long run because they have Norio.
I mean, it's pioneering in the fact that he got to be the person who will always be remembered for the beginning of this thing, which is dreams and entering people's dreams. Yeah, it will ever be sketched in history. His name will be written down.
That was kind of part of the whole commercial deal.
Yeah,
kind of paying homage to him a little bit.
Yeah. It's just it fits for today. Like everything's about clout. It's like how much clout does this fucking guy want or need?
So he kind of gets some fame out of it, canceled into some fame because then his book does get published, even though it only gets published.
Even cancelization is clout.
Yeah, there's some there. People are talking about you.
Yeah, I mean you got street cred, you know, the quote unquote street cred. 'Cause you got clout. 50 Cent always used to talk about he got shot 5 times or 9 times. You know, he's still walking.
Still walking.
Christopher walking.
Christopher Reeve. Not walking. He's divorced from his wife.
Well, his wife leaves him because he makes a statement to the world on fucking FaceTime or the fuck he's on YouTube or Instagram.
X.
Where
it was all... This was all... But that was before the play.
No.
That was.
His wife doesn't leave him until he does it, I thought.
No, they does that thing, and then they tell him you can't come to the play, and then he forces his way. Well, that and like because he's in everybody's dreams, he's not in everybody's dreams. They call him Freddy Krueger at one point, which is great.
Yeah.
And then when is he taking the pictures with Freddy Freddy Krueger?
After because he goes to France for like the book tour.
Yeah.
Oh, the book tour.
And then that's after the
finally gets his book published.
Yeah,
so yes,
has to move out. His wife leaves him. He finds a new place. His daughters hate the place, showing how he's like still pumped to the fact that he's about to go to France and people are going to meet him for his book. That
and all the dreams stopped.
Oh yeah, true.
That's an important note. So
how did they explain that?
They just one day stopped. He said they explained that in the Norio commercial, I think. Till one day they all just stopped. So yeah, he goes out because when he's the realtor's like, my cousin used to have those dreams back in the day,
Oh yeah.
So he meets up with his wife, and then what? How does he get the book deal?
Well, another thing that we forgot to talk about, which is him and his you realize that his wife is gonna leave him, and he's trying to keep her as much as he can. So he's always trying to get into her dreams with this Norio. That's another thing. Like when he's using it to because you can use
No,
it to
that's
dreams.
after they're already divorced. That's all. That's like the end.
Isn't that where we are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you said I don't know. I thought you were like trying to say it was like earlier in the movie.
No.
Okay,
I'm saying
sorry,
like,
my
aren't
bad.
we at that part right now?
I'm gonna say yeah.
There is a scene of him.
He's
going-
in France.
Yeah, he's for the book deal, and he realizes that his book has been renamed and cut down by a bunch of pages, and his book deal's in the bottom in the basement and shit. His signing.
It's horror culture.
No one cares about him. What the hell are you looking like you're lost in the woods for?
So he's like trying to because he's sleeping every night with the Norio on, trying to get into his wife's dreams.
I think that's what he does.
Yeah.
He just thinks about his wife all day. Yeah.
Because that's the end of the movie where he finally is in that
Situation they wanted to be in.
So is
Yeah.
the book deal even real, or was that? In
Well,
the Norio
Jake
too?
said like 45 minutes into this movie, he's got this theory, and I'm kind of wondering what.
Oh,
that was
if
all
that was
about.
like that, if that was the high point, like the fart cum, that was the high point of the movie, and then it's all downhill from there. Like that's where everything turned, and it was like the midway of point of the movie.
That's where my life would probably start to fall apart.
Yeah, everything.
So
everything
movie went
fell.
from being a good movie to a bad movie in that time.
No,
what you're
it got less good, but it's more of where his life kind of got shitty.
Well, that's when he
was
did the
turning
worst
point.
thing he could do.
That was the turning point of the movie.
100%.
That was all I was
But
checking.
you're talking about some theory that doesn't exist now. I thought it was going to be
That was the
juicy.
theory. If it was the
well,
midway of the
you
movie,
used wrong wording
if
when
it
you
was the
talked about
time,
it.
It was halfway. It was 48.
halfway.
So it was very halfway.
I was just my theory was that was the midway point going in. That's all.
Well, good theory. You're
Not a
fucking
crazy theory.
Carmen Sandiego.
Where is she, by the way?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Your theory was that was the midway point. I mean,
What the fuck?
it was the midway point.
This
It
guy.
was midway between the movie.
Midway my dick.
Anyway.
Spending a lot of time with this midway point.
You come and
Yeah, 'cause
fart,
it's
and
this-
my life's over.
Yeah,
tell you what.
exactly. That should have been the end. The movie should have ended
So
there.
where are we then?
I
The
think
end.
we're at the end. He's signing the book deal. He hates his life. It's in French. It's not. The light falls on his fucking head.
Oh my god, let's talk about
He's
that.
a fucking
so he's got to
loser,
sign
dude.
this book deal in the basement of the bookstore because they
It's a book
scheduled-
signing.
Yeah, they scheduled another signing of a bigger author upstairs, and there's a bunch of people.
Probably
for that.
Dean Koontz.
Sure. Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. Dean Koontz wrote Phantoms. That's why I said that.
What?
Yeah, so he's in the basement, and like it just shows like how miserable he is, and then the light falls on him and busts his fucking head open, which is hilarious. And then Michael Starr's like, "Oh no, get somebody down!" It's like, what's going on with this guy?
So the trip doesn't go well.
Shit doesn't go well.
This trip doesn't go well.
And that's
Trip
when he
doesn't go
starts neuro lodging it up on the wrist thing.
Yeah,
and
dude.
earlier in the movie,
He starts keystering his Norio.
Yeah, earlier in the movie, he asks his wife her fantasy about him, and she tells him about him saving her while he's wearing like the David
Talking
Byrne
Heads.
Talking Heads oversized suit,
Yeah.
and that's
He
kind
calls
of
her
the
out
last-
for it too. He's like,
He's like,
that's your fucking
that's
dream?"
fucking stupid.
Yeah, he's the worst.
kind of a dick.
He's a dick.
So the end is him
I think he-
emerging from the darkness
Yeah,
in an oversized talking head suit.
yeah, implying that he got into her dream.
His wife is tied up like Joan of Arc, burning alive. He saves her life. They walk away happy.
And he says, "I wish this was real."
God, what a fucking loser.
What a great last line, though. Come on, that's a great last
So
line.
it's not real.
No.
None of this was real.
And he lost it.
But
being
it's in
himself.
his dream. It's in the dream.
I mean, yeah, but the dream ain't real. The dream's a dream.
But it's in her dream, and he told her that.
No, yeah, but he's like invading her dream.
Yeah.
He's putting himself there.
But he did what she wanted.
So basically, this movie's like Inception, huh? It's pretty much like
little bit.
Inception.
I don't know. It's also just weird, like commentary on the
Dreams
media,
and dreams and guys
stuff.
going into dreams and shit.
And cancel culture.
cancel culture.
Oh, it's very timely.
Yeah, all that stuff.
This dude, Kristoffer Borgli, he definitely deals with like normal situations
Borgli.
and makes them heightened in the Yorgoth kind of way. And you know what I'm saying? I can see why Ari Aster produced this movie because he's got his movies are basically dark comedies as well, and really.
Right.
So it's I can see the reasons why they would
So,
work together.
do you think there was some kind of writing prompt that him and Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie got together, and they're like, well, at the end, the male lead just flies away.
That's also
Maybe.
launch into space.
Go from there.
That's the thing.
Maybe.
'Cause that's two
That is.
peculiar
That is.
storylines where
They just float away.
the end, they just float away.
Completely unrelated, but they do that.
Are they?
I don't see the connection.
Did
but
the eclipse not kill millions of people?
I don't think
Where
so.
are these people? Have you seen them in the same room since other people since the eclipse?
Is there
Me
theories that a bunch
neither.
of people died on the eclipse?
Yes.
Is it really?
Is it?
People have died, they say?
Everybody's dead that was in the...
Oh,
In
no.
the space of the blackness?
I've
The
heard we
space
also
of blackness.
shift back to the reality that we were in before 2017.
Oh, so the Mandela effect's
17.
over.
Mandela. Well, yeah, maybe the Mandela effect's over.
Why 17?
The Mandela effect is similar to this movie. Like, are some of these people actually dreaming it, or some of them dreaming it by like suggestion, and they're like, yeah, sure, because all like
How many
it's like
people saw
implanted?
him on TV?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
like
another
saw
thing
them on TV,
Borgli
things
said.
that,
Like,
yeah.
Borgli?
there's a famous philosopher, and it might be the famous one. I don't know. He was reading about, and
I Ching and all that.
I think
Time is a flat circle.
I think it's someone. I think it's Freud or something, and it's about how everyone shares some sort of collective dream somehow. Like it's just something that everyone did the same way at some point. That everyone could have some sort of connection, and that's why they dream about him. Is because like we're all connected somehow. That was like the point of the movie. That's what got him to make the movie. Is that thought right there of like no matter what, there's something that would connect us all, and that's what he wanted to make a movie about. That's why I read that.
And what connected them?
I don't know. I don't think he knows the answer to it. I don't think there is an answer. I think it's just like a theory of like there's just a way of doing it. Everyone's connected. I don't know. I've never read. It's a very famous book. I sound like a fucking moron for not knowing who wrote it, but it's a famous philosopher.
That's not why you
Zebras
sound
don't
like
get
a
ulcers.
fucking moron.
Oh, okay. Well,
So when zebras don't get ulcers.
I don't think so.
Oh, that was the book in the movie.
You know the book that Esteban Viejo is reading in Kill Bill Volume 2 is
No.
a made-up book.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Bill.
What's it called?
What's he reading?
The Karakans of Kurakan or something. And I guess like
Sounds
everybody
13 Fifths of McCluskey.
I guess everybody Googled it and found out it wasn't a real book,
Lancer.
which is cool.
I didn't. What about you, Lash LaRue?
Todd Minstew.
Tad Theroux? Todd Donaldson?
Oh, Lord
What do you think about the Mandela effect?
I think it's... What do you think about it?
What do you think about it? I'm gonna be honest with you. I know the basics of it, but I don't know like
Same.
specific
None
like
of us are
iterations of things that
scholars.
happened because of it or because it's the effect of
I think
Morgan Freeman and Nelson Mandela.
it's
Morgan Della.
misremembering. It's people's bad memories. I think it's people's bad memories. It's bad memories.
I think I also think that has a lot to do like with suggested memories.
Yep.
And like changed memories. A good example I always think of is I think it's Black Sheep, or is it Tommy Boy when he's
Tommy Boy.
does the Luke I am your father into
Luke,
yeah,
I
into
am
the-
your
into the fan.
father.
Tommy Boy.
Blah, blah,
Tommy
blah,
Boy.
blah, blah, yeah.
So as kids we
She goes Star
remember
Wars.
Yeah.
that it's Darth Vader says Luke I am your father.
Yeah.
But in Star
doesn't
Wars
actually
he
say
says
that.
no I am your father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually say Luke I am your father, but it's like that's what people like remember differently. Or there was like the Bernstein Bears where I think, or the Berenstein Bears. See, I even said it wrong because I
Yeah.
think maybe people's parents mispronounced the book.
Yeah, Bernstein.
Yeah,
He,
like
what
Bernstein,
he
that
said,
was
they
like
said
what my-
Bernstein.
Yeah, my parents said Bernstein Bears.
You
when
said
it's Ber-
Bernstein, yeah.
Your
Berenstein
movies. I
Bears.
mean, your house is a great horror movie house. Like Scream.
Because
could
the
have been
lights are
filmed-
flickering and shit.
Scream could have been filmed here. Not only because like you can see everything. There's everything.
Obviously, he's bored with what you're saying.
No,
dude.
I'm sorry. I liked what you were saying.
But there's also like weird theories of
God
why
damn.
it's happening because there's like this whole thing with like we're living in an alternate reality and like realities collided and like
Yeah,
there
but
was a
what the
version
fuck?
of,
Who knows
there was
what's
a
that
version of
about?
reality where all those things were that
Sure.
where the false memory is like
Sure.
it comes from Mandela with Mandela people remember Nelson Mandela dying in jail when he went on to become the president.
Yeah,
What is
I
the
think
point?
I think people
there's
are
no
just
point.
dumb though.
It's just a phenomena that
I think
happens.
people are
It's
dumb.
Like a mass misremembering.
You only need a couple people to say something to where it will get a couple more people to misremember that themselves. It will get even more people to just say it wrong because they enjoy it. They enjoy the fact that people are, they some people just want to watch the world burn. That's where flat Earth came from. One person said, "I don't know, what do we bring up flat Earth again?" And everyone's like, "Well, flat Earth is fun." Then a couple people were like, "Yeah, I think flat Earth really is flat." And then even more people were like, "Oh yeah, Earth's flat, guys. Definitely Earth's flat. Here's the proof." And then they're trolls.
For sure.
Sure.
That's Mandela. Trolls. Mandela's trolls and idiots.
It's fun to know weird facts about him, though.
Not Mandela himself. The Mandela effect.
Just good guy.
I
Nelson
think if
Mandela.
this ever-
Nelson
Good
Mandela,
guy.
great guy.
I think-
Also,
Good apartheid.
didn't die in jail, in prison. He became the president of South Africa. South Africa?
South Africa.
I think if this ever happens to somebody, they should definitely have a reality show about them 24/7 to document it, though. Because it could happen in many different ways, and I think it'd be interesting to see. Like, if this really did happen
He
to
would have
somebody.
loved that. I'm surprised that. I mean, that could have been a movie in itself.
Yeah.
Just a different level of fame.
All right. So we're moving on to zone of interest. No, I'm just kidding.
What do you rate this movie? On a scale of 1 to 10. Jake.
I think it's like a 7-1.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
The premise alone is great, although the more I see the obvious connection to cancel culture, the less like novel the idea is, like it seems, because they just kind of were like, well, how do we do cancel culture in an interesting way? But boy, did they do it in an interesting way.
I don't necessarily think it was cancel culture that they wanted to make a movie about and then they used it to do it. I think it was just he makes movies about, like his first movie was about someone in a relationship who wanted to outdo the other person to get internet famous. So they start getting surgeries to make themselves like look weird. And like they go as far and then they become super famous. So it's just his movies are just about people who are just willing to
Narcissism.
do things to the extreme extent, and like unlike most people, because they're just
I
fucking
mean, like
weirdos.
we saw the one with the filmmaker getting shot over and over during an interview just to like draw attention to himself.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like
yeah.
something weird about like I don't know,
That's
like
what his
craving
thing is. That's
attention.
his thing,
Like
yeah.
there's just I don't know. Like I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around like what exactly they were saying with the zebra stuff. But there's something about like, should you just blend in or should you stand out? Like which one's better?
That's kind of what the killer was about
Yeah,
too.
because for him standing out, it like clearly cost him when he was just blending and his life seemingly was going fine. It was very normal. It wasn't like anything exciting. He just
It was fucking fine.
it was fine.
I mean, it's very Walter White. It's very analogous to Walter
Just
White.
craved more.
Once he got a taste of glory, he just wanted more and more. He wanted Maury. Once you get a taste of glory, you want Maury.
Say hello to the bad guy. They like being the bad guy. What do you rate it? 1 to 10.
1 to 10?
1 to 10.
It's got to be pretty high because the acting was on point. The story was on point. Originality. Sounded good.
Yeah, it's a timely.
It's so timely. Personal effect, pretty high. I loved it. I'm going 7, 8. 7, 8, 9. 7.89.
Okay, I'm gonna go 7, 7.
I'm gonna do new rating scale. 3 comes 4 farts. 3 comes 4 farts. I'll give
3
it.
comes, 4 farts.
Yep.
3 comes for farts.
All right, what do you do in that situation?
After you've cummed and farted,
You've she's touched you and you farted once. Do you stay?
I would have left at that point.
Or do you leave immediately?
She really
It
was
depends
like,
if
after
she
the
reacts.
first fart.
It
Like,
depends if she
was-
reacts, and she was pretty chill about it.
She was chill as fuck.
That's what I mean. I think
She
I
was
was
into
because
it.
of her. Yeah. I don't think she wanted him to fart, but
So-
she was okay with it. So that made it.
No, I doubt she wanted him to fart.
She probably
I don't
could have
know how
coaxed
many
me
people
into,
do.
into staying. I
And if
bet-
it
I
wasn't
bet I would've
stinky, that
stayed.
probably helped too. Because if it was stinky, that
Maybe.
probably.
It was a
yeah.
nervous
'Cause
fart.
He tried to leave, right?
Yeah.
Did he try to leave at that point?
I think he was hinting at he was gonna go, and she's like, "Nah, stay."
Because I would have like been like standing up after that, and then
Yeah.
if she would have been like settling me down, maybe she could have settled me down, but door would have been.
Okay.
I would have been pretty adamant about getting the fuck out of there.
So she's very comfortable with you. You're like, all right, cool, fine, fuck. But then she unzips your pants, barely touches your pee, and then you come. And not only that, she goes, "Did you come?" And then right after that, you go,
Yeah, you definitely were the lowest of lows.
I think I killed myself.
Yeah,
at that
I
point.
block anyone connected to her that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just
You know,
exact,
you might have to kill her.
maybe.
And then you just jerk off to
Just
it later.
kill. Oh
It's a-
my
it-
god.
That's a potential
You
murder.
jerk off to all of
suicide.
it.
Yeah,
Oh my
definitely,
God.
definitely possible murder suicide.
You got to get rid of the witnesses.
Yeah.
You either kill yourself or you kill her,
Maybe you kill yourself.
and then kill her.
I don't know. What was I going to say?
Hmm.
I really don't.
What would you give it, Schwartz? What's your scale? Did you give it a number yet?
Yeah, he said 7.7.
Oh, did
I
you
said
say
7.7.
7.7. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, good. Sevens.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
High sevens. All right.
Check it out.
Zone of interest.
This guy's going to be a dude to watch for a while.
Chris Kristofferson.
Kristoffer Borgli.
Christopher Borgli.
Christoph.
Hopefully we get to work with this guy.
You get to work with this guy?
Yeah, it'd be cool to collab on something with this guy. All right. Hit the button, Jake.
You got to cut it.
Nick Cage.
Lead it. 1 2 1 2. Check it. Check 1 2.
Check 1 2.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7.
Nick Cage for life.
And now let's talk a little bit about the Cage Meister, Nick Cage, Snake Eyes himself.
Coppola. Real name Coppola.
Mr. Castor Troy.
His name's Coppola.
What's his
Coppola?
real name? Jonathan Nicholas Coppola.
His name's like
Nick
Coppola's
Coppola.
his real name. Cage is a made up name.
Nicholas Coppola, I think is his
He didn't
real
want
name.
the
Tell
didn't
us.
want the name.
Tell us, why did he
That's all I
change
know.
his name?
Francis
'Cause he
Ford's
didn't want
nephew.
nepotism to be his reason. You
Like
know?
an Estevez?
Yeah.
Probably helped though, regardless.
Is your house haunted?
No.
It's just cats like pitter pattering around.
I don't know, man. I think this house might be a little haunted.
What's going on?
I don't know if she see things or sense things, but I'm sensing things. And seeing
What's
things.
flickering?
I don't know.
I just felt a presence.
This house is a little.
It's probably the cats.
It could. There are like 3 cats running around like being mischievous. So
3?
It's probably true.
Two.
2 cats.
I think I
unless
saw a
one,
third
Another one
one.
maybe came in. I don't know. Who knows?
There was definitely a fucking
What
squirrel out there before.
is your favorite Nicolas Cage movie? Everybody at the
Face
same
Off.
time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The
Face
Rock.
Adaptation.
Snake Eyes.
Pig.
Pig.
Top 5s.
Pig.
Con Air.
Con Air's good.
Dream Scenario.
Dream Scenario is definitely up there in acting.
He's one of the actors that's worked with some of the best directors in the biz, and he's one of the actors that's worked with some directors at the other end of the spectrum. Not necessarily like they're lower directors in ability; they just haven't had the notoriety or chances of like he's worked with Scorsese, he's worked with Michael Bay, he's worked with fucking Spike Jonze, he's worked with fucking he's worked with Christopher Coppola, he's worked with fucking
Uncle Copes.
he wasn't he in a David Lynch movie? Yeah, a lot of hard work. David
Yep.
Lynch. I mean, he's worked with a lot of big people, and he's been in a lot of movies. Like for a while, he was pretty sought after.
His fucking filmography is like bonkers, really. Like
It's
'cause
insane.
He just makes a ton of movies. Like he doesn't just make good movies. He makes like 4 movies a year, 5 movies a year, and they're all.
Yeah, but from like 1992 to like 2005, he probably made the best movies in the world.
Sure, like he had that era, but even like recently, he's had like this weird renaissance
Yeah,
of like
definitely
strange
had a
roles.
resurgence,
yeah,
so-
yeah.
While sometimes he still makes a lot of random ass movies, but he's still making a lot of notable, bizarre, like somewhat meta films that he gets involved in.
I mean, the
he
unbearable
was
weight
in
of
1,
massive
2,
talent.
3, 4, 5, 6 movies last year.
Yeah.
How many did you see? I saw.
What were the
I
names
saw there's The Old Way,
Never seen it.
Renfield,
Saw it.
Flash.
Didn't see, oh, wait, the movie Flash?
Yeah, he was in
Yeah, I
it.
saw that.
Sympathy for the Devil,
Didn't see that.
That was a weird one. Wasn't very good though.
Dream Scenario,
Saw that.
The Retirement Plan.
Nope.
Retirement plan was fucking really bad. It was super bad.
Yeah, but you probably got paid like a couple $100 G's for that.
Right. It was just one of those where there was just like a bunch of old, like, who's the dude that played Hellboy? Ron Perlman, and like I think Danny Glover was in it. Like all these like really old actors that just here's a paycheck, guys.
Yeah. Renfield was pretty fun.
I liked Renfield.
Pig was great.
Pig was great. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. That's
Yeah,
a
that was
special movie
fun.
right there.
That was
because
fun.
That's everything you want in a fucking cage movie.
Honestly, Color Out of
Cage
Space was
Daniel.
pretty great. It was pretty awesome too.
I liked that one too.
Mandy was interesting.
I couldn't do Mandy.
Well,
Mandy
Mandy's
was
got like a cult following, no matter if you like it or hate it.
about a cult, and it was just like it just was so.
Those are the movies that really was just like Renaissance. Before
want
that, it was
something.
pretty bad for a while.
Yeah, but still like.
Kick Ass, I forgot he was great in Kick Ass.
Oh yeah.
He was the dad. Knowing's a great movie.
Haven't seen that.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah, for as many as I've seen, there's so many that are just in there, especially through like the mid, 20 teens. There's so many just movies that I'm looking at that I'm like, I don't know.
Damn,
what the hell
look,
this is.
2005, The Weatherman. 2005, Lord of War. 2005, National Treasure. 2003, Matchstick Men. 2002, Adaptation. 2001,
Wind Talkers.
Wind Talkers, Family Man, Gone in 60 Seconds, Bringing Out the Dead, 8mm, Snake Eyes, City of Angels, Face Off, Con Air, The Rock, Leaving Las Vegas. Guy's fucking killing it. More an Oscar in there.
True.
Bangkok Dangerous.
But at the same time, he also is Nicolas Cage. You know what I mean? He's not gonna play fucking anything Robert Downey Jr. would play, probably.
Yeah, he's an interesting character.
And that's our talk on Nicolas
Do
Cage.
you wanna do,
Join us
I think
next
we
time
can do
for
sides
our
sides.
talk on
Want to do top fives?
Brad Renfro.
Cut it, or are we gonna do like top five?
Top five.
Top five Nicolas
top
Cage,
five
Cage,
Cage.
Cage.
Let's do top six Cage.
Top
Well, why don't we
6
do
Cage
this
Top six
goddamn
as a
fucking-
draft.
We've done a draft.
We did a draft?
Just
top
do a,
6
yeah,
Cage?
we've done
rattle off your
Cage.
top six Cage.
All right. Like in order?
Yeah.
What?
Give me your top Cage.
Top Cage.
Top Cage.
Top Cage.
Yeah.
Face Off.
Face Off. All right.
We're going like that one by one.
All right. Face Off. Con Air. The Rock.
Top three.
3 more.
Snake Eyes.
Okay.
Oh, Lord of War.
That's a good one.
National Treasure.
That's a good one too. That's 6. All right, I'm gonna go Adaptation, Face Off, The Rock, Con Air, Leaving Las Vegas. Family Man. How many is that?
I feel like that was at least 6.
Okay, there you go. There's my list.
All right, cool. I'll hit you with Adaptation, Pig, The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, and then gotta go Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. That was really fun.
So it's a good throw-in.
That was a fun one. Just Cage being Cage, dude.
I want to see Michael Keaton's new movie. We should do that movie. We should go see that. Knox Goes Away. He directed that movie.
Maybe,
We
allegedly.
should go see that. No, he definitely directed that movie.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about seeing it. okay?
Interesting.
We'll see about
I like
seeing it.
this argument. So, did he or did he not? Or
Direct this
is it just a kind of an unknown at this point?
No, it's facts.
Jake.
Right now, I don't know. There's no
Okay.
proof to me.
Yeah.
No, there is.
There's no proof
There's
right in front of
proof.
me.
So it's
I don't
kind of
see
like
any.
the moon
I'm
landing.
looking
I
around.
wasn't there for the moon landing.
Yeah, I wasn't
you know?
there for the
so like, I know
direction.
there's a lot of smart people saying we landed on the moon. Just like Schwartz, a very knowledgeable person in movies, is saying that this director, what's his name again?
Michael Keaton.
Directed this. Michael Keaton? did?
Yes.
Batman?
I don't know if that's true.
Yes.
Doesn't sound right.
It
Called
doesn't sound right
Knox
either.
Goes Away.
Yeah. Stop.
New movie.
Don't yell
Great
in the
actor.
mic like that.
Directed the movie.
Great actor.
Directed the movie. We should watch it.
One of my favorite Batmans. Maybe my favorite.
We should do the movie.
Interesting. And he might have directed this movie.
Definitely directed the
Yeah.
movie.
You're
Cool.
just suggesting things while we're talking about Nicolas Cage. You interrupt it with this
Nicolas
weird
Cage is the
Keaton.
man.
Let's
Nicolas
just do a
Cage.
top 3 Michael Keaton. I'm gonna go the other guys, Batman,
Okay.
and Birdman.
Okay, I'm gonna go the other guys, Jackie Brown and Batman.
Okay. Batman, Birdman, Batman Returns.
Good
Nice.
call. Good
Yeah.
call. Good call.
All mans.
All right.
Calls your mans.
So I think since we got to Michael Keaton topics, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, wrap it up.
Yeah,
Don't ever
maybe
bang
it's a
Michael
good time.
Keaton without wrapping it up.
Now you can do a sign off.
We gotta do his movie though. We should watch Knox Goes Away and then do it.
We'll see.
You should see
I
it.
don't know. It's just a weird suggestion.
Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we knocks.
Making it sound like we're gonna do it, which there's no promises.
Guys, that's my next pick.
Zone of interest.
My
is-
next
is
pick.
what we'll do.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, we can do that one too. But
Okay.
we're gonna do this one too.
We'll see.
My next pick. No, when it'll air, but it's my pick.
right.
Thanks for listening to Making Me Watch Movies. Making Me Watch Movies. Copyright. Making Me Watch Movies. .com.